I hereby grant you top secret clearance to Project Hail Mary.
What's Project Hail Mary?
Rarely has a studio had as much faith in a movie as Amazon MGM seems to have with Project Hail Mary, the biggest film that they've produced since the streamer started to ramp up its theatrical release calendar. Based on the novel by Andy Weir, who of course wrote The Martian, and directed by Phil Lord and Christopher Miller, who did the Spider-Verse films, 21 and 22 Jump Street, and infamously were fired off of Solo, a Star Wars story, the film has not only been getting a lot of early word-of-mouth screenings, but this weekend it's set to play a limited 70mm engagement a week before it goes wide. Clearly, the studio is convinced they have a winner, and having finally seen the film for myself, I'm inclined to agree. So in Project Hail Mary, a high school teacher, played by Ryan Gosling with a doctorate in molecular biology, wakes up on a spaceship light years away from home with no idea how he got there. Slowly, he begins to realize he's been sent on an Earth-saving mission from which he will never be able to return. While time will tell whether Project Hail Mary turns into the theatrical event it's being positioned as, it's a thoroughly entertaining space adventure which, like The Martian before it, which was also adapted by screenwriter Drew Goddard, aims to be an optimistic feel-good story that should inspire a generation of would-be astronauts, and scientists for that matter. Ryan Gosling is perfectly cast as the hero, Dr. Ryland Grace, who prefer to be teaching science in middle school than floating in outer space, making him a somewhat less than stoic hero. Gosling excels in the part, imbuing him with a large dose of humor, while never making him come off as anything other than the brilliant man he's supposed to be. He's goofy, but never silly. And Gosling has the presence needed for the role, with it almost becoming a one-man show for a good chunk of its running time. Well, that's almost true. In fact, beyond Gosling, the movie has another star in his alien buddy Rocky, who Grace encounters on his journey and is also trying to save his own planet from the same phenomenon that threatens Earth, a star-destroying organism called astrophage. Rocky becomes Gosling's dominant co-star, being a visual effects-enhanced puppet who is actually operated on set and becomes a true scene stealer. The friendship that sparks between Grace and Rocky gives the movie its heart, and by using older methods to animate him, he feels real, in a way classic sci-fi characters like E.T. or Yoda did, which is strikingly different than if he had just been CGI. He is a true special effect. In fact, Lord and Miller, who will likely become two of the hottest directors in town after this, have made a deliberate attempt to adopt and adapt some older visual effects techniques, with the film eschewing green screen for practical sets and using CGI to give everything a finished polish. It feels like a reaction to the overly CGI-driven Hollywood blockbusters that are becoming endangered by the growing use of AI. While many will compare it to The Martian, it also seems inspired by Peter Hyams' underrated sequel to 2001: A Space Odyssey, 2010, to which it shares a few visual similarities. Plus, they also both open with that classic MGM UA logo. It's also innovatively photographed by Greg Fraser, with it showing in a variety of formats, including 235:1 70mm and IMAX screenings. In the IMAX screening that I saw, the aspect ratio changes, with the earthbound scenes in scope while the frame opens to full IMAX ratio for all the sequences set in space. The Earth sequences only take up about 20% of the movie, but like the rest of Project Hail Mary, they have a lot of warmth, with Grace becoming close to Sandra Hüller's character, the cold head of the Hail Mary project. In a nod to her work in Tony Erdmann, in which she memorably sang Whitney Houston's The Greatest Love of All, she gets another great karaoke moment singing a stirring version of Harry Styles' Sign of the Times. While it runs a hefty 156 minutes, the running time does zip along, with Lord and Miller having a good handle on pace. It's really an impeccably made movie with everyone involved doing superlative work, including Daniel Pemberton, who contributes a strong score. It's the kind of movie that deserves to become the next Sinners, so hopefully audiences will give it a shot. It's upbeat and leaves you walking out of the theater feeling optimistic, which I think is something all of us could use in these rather somber times, and I give it a very strong 9 on 10.
Project Hail Mary, only in theaters March 20th.
Thank you for clicking on our video, everybody. If you like what you saw here, please make sure you like the video and subscribe and share with your friends who like this sort of content. JoBlo was created by movie fans for movie fans, and we appreciate your support.